The argument is raised that because the Prophet ﷺ used the word Khalifa, a Khalifa will die. The implication is that the Khilafah will be restored before the advent of Imam al-Mahdi. But have you forgotten that hadith with which we began? كيف أنتم إذا نزل عليكم ابن مريم وإمامكم منكم? Why should the Prophet ﷺ say to us that this Imam will be from your own ranks when we already have the Khilafah? It has already been restored and our Imams are already from our own ranks. Why should he say that? My understanding is that the hadith is clear that prior to the advent of Imam al-Mahdi, it is not possible to restore the Khilafah. No. And therefore, when the word Khalifa is used, a Khalifa will die. The Prophet ﷺ is referring to a Muslim ruler. Who could it be? Oh, the answer is clear. It has to be a Saudi king. Because there are 5,000 princes out there waiting, struggling, fighting to take over. And there's already sufficient evidence of internal conflicts and rivalries within the big Saudi clan. So, a Saudi king will die. It can't be Fahad because he's already dead. Would it be Abdullah? I don't think so. And I'll let you know why in a moment. When that Saudi king dies and there is disagreement concerning succession, it is at that time that Allah will send the Imam. Is the Imam born already? This is not arrogance on my part. No. When I say, I don't know and I don't want to know. So please don't send me emails asking me whether the Imam has been born already. What is important is that Allah places a cover and Allah conceals him. And no one knows that he is the Imam until that moment arrives. When the king, the Khalifa dies and there is disagreement and so on, then he proclaims himself to be the Imam. Until that moment, we don't know who is the Imam. So is he born already? No, come on. I don't know and I don't want to know. Having disposed of these questions, now what are the implications of the advent of the Imam? The first and major implication of the advent of the Imam is that the substitute that Dajjal had created to replace the Khilafah, that substitute, your modern state, will now return to the garbage bin of history from where it came out in the first place. Why do I use such harsh language? What is the Khilafah state? The Khilafah state is a state established for the first time by Nabi Dawood alayhi salam in the Holy Land, the holy state of Israel, restored in Medina by Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. The Khilafah state is a state which recognizes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as Al-Malik. Al-Malik. they translate Al-Malik as the king, whereas in political terminology, it should be translated as a sovereign. So sovereignty in the Khilafah state resides with Allah. The modern secular state which came from Dajjal says no. No. Allah is not Al-Malik. Sovereignty does not reside with Allah. Sovereignty resides with the state. The state is sovereign. The people are sovereign, not the Lord who created them. You don't need a PhD to understand that that is shirk. And that's the one sin that Allah will never forgive. For those of us who just have a few steps left before the grave, it's a wake-up call for us to make tawbah before it's too late. The Khilafah state recognizes Allah's authority as supreme. He is Al-Akbar. The modern secular state says no. The authority of the state is supreme. There is no authority above the state. And the states are all organized under the United Nations organization. And the United Nations organization has at its top the Security Council. And the authority of the Security Council of the United Nations is Al-Akbar, not Allah. Dajjal created that. And instead of worshipping Allah, we are worshipping Dajjal. The Khilafah state says that Allah is Al-Hakam, the supreme lawmaker. His law is the supreme law. And when He says haram, no one can make it halal. And when He says halal, no one can make it haram. And in Surah At-Tawbah, there is a verse of the Quran which declares that to be shirk, to legalize and make legal what Allah has made haram. That is shirk. The modern secular state says no, Allah is not Al-Hakam. Parliament is Al-Hakam. Parliament makes the law. And the law that comes from Parliament and the law that comes from the United Nations is the supreme law. The modern secular state says more than that. If I am wrong, would you kindly correct me? The modern secular state says that Allah can make it haram, but we can make it halal. And everything, or almost everything, because we have not reached New York as yet. In New York, they now legalize the marriage of a man with a man. In New York, they have now legalized the marriage of a man with a man, and yet you want this, you want your green card, to become an American citizen, so go and stay there and never come back. Those are your people, not ours. The modern secular state says Allah can make it haram, but we can legalize it. Shall I give you some examples? Would you be interested? Yes. Did you know that Allah prohibited money being lent on interest? Did you know that? Yes. Huh? You know that? And did you know that Allah has declared war? War on the money lender lending money on interest? Did you know that? And did you know that Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam has cursed all four and declared that they are all equally guilty? The one who takes riba, the one who gives riba, the one who records the transaction, and the two witnesses.